Time for the hot topic of the hour. President Trump giving an update on talks with Iran during his 11th cabinet meeting of his second term, revealing that the present Iran promised to him as part of ongoing negotiations. Listen.
They said to show you the fact that we're real and solid and we're there. We're going to let you have 8 boats of oil, 8 boats, 8 big boats of oil. And they were real, and I think they were Pakistani flagged. And I said, well, I guess we're dealing with the right people. And actually, they then apologized for something they said, and they said, we're going to send 2 more boats. And it ended up being 10 boats.
As a result, the president extending the pause on striking Iranian energy facilities for 10 days until April 6th. He discussed more about it on The 5 on Fox News Channel last night. Watch.
You just put out on Truth Social that you will be pausing energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time because the negotiations are going very well. I would never ask you to reveal to the public specifics, but could you broadly characterize where we are at?
The Iranians asked me to do that, and I was not happy with them because I made a statement that we're having productive negotiations. I don't know that they get there. Maybe they do. Maybe they won't. I mean, look, in a certain sense, we've already won because we've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force, completely knocked out their Air Force, just about completely knocked out. We knocked out 154 ships, and pretty good ships.
Pentagon reportedly is considering sending up to 10,000 additional ground troops to the Middle East to give the commander-in-chief more military options as he weighs peace talks with Iran, Tiana. And, you know, the Wall Street Journal's editorial board lays out the reason why it's important that the mission be completed. And it's called Don't Let Iran's Hostage Takers Win. The Iranian regime made a lot of mistakes, the Journal writes, and the Ayatollah thought that they could threaten and extend and negotiate, et cetera. We'd heard Secretary Rubio last year say that that was the biggest frustration of his time. And now you've got maybe Marines coming in to all of this.
The first mistake among them was making the eradication of the regime an existential priority for not the U.S. and Israel, but for those Gulf allies, or for those Gulf neighbors, right? Mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia, UAE, they have not been more supportive of the president's actions than they are right now. And with regards to that mission, President Trump laid out those 4 quantifiable objectives. And right now, the best evidence we have is that Trump has destroyed about 2/3 of Iran's missile, drone, and naval production capability. So the end is near. This isn't some amorphous, questionable, moving target. The fact is that Iran is not stopping the drone attacks on those Gulf neighbors. They are supportive of all this. And it seems like the majority of the job is done. It's really down to the highly enriched uranium and the leadership.
Yeah, we had Congressman Mike Headquartered on in the last hour, and I asked him if he was comfortable with, frankly, boots on the ground, these reports that the administration is going to try to overtake some of the Iranian islands. Listen to the congressman.
Very uncomfortable with any idea of bringing ground troops into the Middle East. As you know, the challenges we had in Iraq and other places, they've been historically challenging. Even the Reagan years in Beirut, et cetera. But I think what the president wants to do is exert maximum pressure on whoever's left in Iran to run the country. And we want to have a situation where what's our primary goal? Take out the ability for Iran to project power so they can no longer fund terrorist groups, etc., and have stability in the region, which has never happened in my lifetime. I always give a lot of, let's just say, leeway to the president in the short term, as long as he's talking about knocking out and using air power, but ground troops are where I draw the line.
What do you make of that, Tiana, that statement from him?
I think President Trump is correct to not rule anything out, and it's part of the posturing he's had. He had it with the Armada before Operation Epic Fury, right? Make a deal or else, and Iran decided not to, and now he's saying, we have 10,000 troops. Come on, give me more concessions or else. And again, I find it difficult to believe that we could get, what is it at this point, 500 pounds of highly enriched uranium without some sort of special operation. I know there's consideration about taking Karg Island, but the idea is that the American people tend to move towards winning. So if Trump is able to pull off something, Maduro, we had boots on the ground, but the point is it was swift, it got the job done, and then we were out.
And there was support of that. And,
yes.
you know, it's the reaction we're seeing here in the U.S. has been obviously pretty interesting. interesting because there was this protest outside of Philadelphia City Hall, and you had these masked speakers that were chanting about how they would cheer for every U.S. soldier who returns in a casket. The crowd reportedly responding to that statement in a positive manner. They called on the Iranian regime to remain in power so it can keep supporting terror groups, Hamas and Hezbollah, Greg. That's some of the things that we're seeing on our soil right now.
I know. I mean, look, it's clearly an issue. It's clearly part of the political process right now. I don't know that we get away from it entirely. But with regard to Iran right now and what's going on, to Tiania's point, I agree. I mean, we're getting closer to an end game. We don't know how it's going to end exactly, but the president is not a fan of boots on the ground in general. I think he's made that very, very clear. That doesn't mean that he's not going to mobilize forces in that region to open up the strait, and I think that's where we're at right now. Yeah. But with regard to the political dynamic here in the U.S., you're still going to see these protests going on over time.
And we have. And also, we'll get into this in the next part of the show, but obviously there's a large economic stake with the energy infrastructure that is there. And, of course, what we're seeing with the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to talk about it next. We're just getting started for the hour.